Alright, today we're going to combine our algebra of quadratics with some geometry and just solving for lengths and widths and other algebra. Alright, so question number 2 on your worksheet is find the width of, sorry, let me start over. If the width of the rectangle is 11 inches less than its length, find the dimensions of the rectangle. This should be if the area is 80 square inches. Okay? So you're going to start with a picture. You have a rectangle. I'm going to call the length L, and the width is 11 inches less than, so that's L minus 11. Okay, and then I know that the area, or the inside, is 80 inches squared. Okay, so I start to think back. I know the area. How would you find the area? Well, the area of a rectangle equals the length times the width. I know, now I'm just going to plug in what I know. I know A is 80, the area is 80, the length was called L, and we called the width L minus 11. Okay, now I need to start to solve for L. So I look at it, I can distribute my L, and I get L squared minus 11L, and this all still equals 80. Now I notice I have an L squared and an L, so that must mean I need to use the quadratic to solve it. So I start that process. That process consists of getting 0 on one side, cancels, and 0 equals L squared minus 11L minus 80. Okay. From here you need to use the quadratic. So we have our A being 1, our B being negative 11, and our C being negative 80. And just start to plug that into your equation. Negative 11 plus or minus the square root of negative 11 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 80 all over 2 times 1. That gives you an 11 plus or minus 121 minus a negative 320 all over 2. Add those two together. You get 441? 441? Did I do that right? Yep. And then you want to take the square root of that. You get 11 plus or minus 21 over 2. Then do your last step there. You're going to get 32 over 2, which gives you 16, and negative 10 over 2, which gives you negative 5. Okay. Again, you start to think about what were we solving for. We were solving for L. What does L stand for? L stands for the length, and so the length of something cannot be negative. So we know negative 5 is not correct. Okay. Now we go back to what was the question asking for. Now that I did the math, what was the question asking for? The question was asking for the dimensions. By dimensions, they mean the length and the width. So we know the length was 16. We had solved for that. And then we need to go back and to look at the width, and the width was the length. It was 11 less than the length. So I can change this length to 16. 16 minus 11 gives me a width of 5. So your dimensions are 16 inches and 5 inches. You can check that. Length times width should give you area. 16 times 5 is 80. Okay. Problem number 3. The product of two consecutive integers is 56. Find the integers. Consecutive means they come in a row. So an example of that, 1 and 2 are consecutive. 13 and 14 are consecutive. Anything that comes one after another. Okay, so that means x and x plus 1 are consecutive. It was just the previous number plus 1. Okay, so those are two consecutive integers. And then the next thing said it was the product. Product means to multiply. So they were taking the first integer and they were multiplying it by the second integer, and that gave them 56. So that's how you set up this type of equation. Same process. Distribute, x squared plus x equals 56. I notice that there's a squared and a non-squared variable, so I need to use quadratic. I minus my 56 on both sides. I have x squared plus x minus 56 equals 0. Okay, I want you to pause the video, go through the process of the quadratic equation, and see if you get the same answer. Your two answers you should be getting are -8 and 7. Okay, so now let's go back up and look at the problem. It was looking for two consecutive integers that when you multiplied them together you got 56. Okay, so if one is, so let's start with the -8 and think about it. If my number is -8, the next consecutive integer is -7. Now I think about the product. -8 times -7 is a positive 56. Okay, so that one works. So one answer is -8 and -7. Okay, now let's try another other answer. If the first number is 7, a consecutive integer, the next one would be 8. I multiply those together to check, and I get 56. So my second answer is positive 7 and positive 8. There are two consecutive integers that their product is 56. Okay, on your own, finish your worksheet, and good luck. Thank you.